Hello my lovelies and welcome to another video. Today's one is something I've been thinking about filming for a while now, and it's sort of like a format that I haven't really seen before or like done before. And since we're at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, I thought it's a perfect moment for us together to discuss what I personally think and believe will be things that I'm leaving behind in 2025 and what will be the things that I'm bringing with me in 2026. And it's going to be slightly different because I'm not just going to be focusing on fashion and beauty, though I will of course touch upon that, but I'm gonna sort of try and think about general approach to life and world in 2026. Now, as someone who has pretty much traveled the world just in 2025 and attended all the ready-to-wear and haute couture fashion shows, and I attend pretty much most of the fashion events that are relevant, I feel like I want to bring more opinions in 2026 that I feel will be relevant for you guys, for your purchases, for your approach to life, your family, your friends, and the way of living, which could actually be helpful in a way as well. So we already kind of started with one that I think is in. I think knowledge, information, and just getting and being a little bit more overall educated person will definitely be something that people are going to be striving for more. Education, opinion, and in general being informed on everything. Whether it's a handbag you're purchasing and you want to know about craftsmanship, about manufacture, about materials, about the price transparency, or general education on the topic such as in more niche professions, we are going to be seeking knowledge more in 2026. And I think this whole thing has already started a while ago. I think and I hope that we are done with era of just pure entertainment and reality where we seek a quick fix, a bit of like a scroll and entertainment, and we're going more for education. And I think also social media is going to be heading in that direction where we seek more quality and less entertainment. Well, that was unintentional. I didn't want to go straight with those kind of like things that we are bringing in and leaving in, but I'm going to continue with like a list that I have curated for you guys, especially here. So in no particular order, let's start with fashion. I think that in 2025, we're gonna leave the viral fashion. Now, I'm sure you guys have noticed, just like I have noticed, that pretty much viral fashion is a thing on social media. Now, there's like a trending suede jacket that everybody's wearing. There is a trending shearling coat that everybody's wearing. There is a trending pair of boots that everybody's wearing. Like, there are sort of like uniforms that are very specific look and aesthetic that everybody's wearing. A lot of them are also depending on quiet luxury, old money aesthetic. I think that's also a little bit overdone, and even though I already thought that was gonna be like that was gonna stay behind in 2024, I think like we're still keeping that like basic but elevated look around. However, I do think that the touch of Victorian fashion is going to really take over 2026. So we're leaving behind like the viral moments, and we are really bringing with us like those kind of Victorian lacy, think about like really demure and seductive pieces. Now, this already really started in 2025. Now think about that trend of like lace trimmings, like lace trimming everywhere. Skirts with a lace trim. I recently got one actually, but even this summer I wore like a sort of like a silk skirt with a lace trimming. Then lace gloves. I think Valentino really brought that trend back. A lot of like lace and cute things like bows in the hair. That kind of like feminine touch is something that we are definitely going to be bringing with us in 2026, and I'm so here for that a little bit more mysterious fashion that I don't think everybody and anybody can pull off, but I think it's going to be chef's kiss. Now let's talk about jewelry. I think that we are going to be leaving that whole like sort of, what do I even call this, like center of attention jewelry, you know it all. Like, I mean, the amount of like designer bracelets that I've seen in the past 6 months, I feel like I've never seen in my life. And it's usually works like that in fashion. When things get oversaturated, people easily get bored of it and they want to go like a completely different end. Now, I have a lot of beautiful pieces of jewelry from various different names or no name or whatever, but I think like the very, very flashy pieces with very obvious brand names are maybe going to be like less desirable in 2026. I think even like from big flashy brands, we're gonna want the less obvious pieces, and people are gonna want like the cool, different quality pieces that not everybody has, and pieces that are more like screaming design and less brand name. So we're definitely going to want the design over the brand name. Even in popular brands, like very, very popular heritage jewelry brands, people have been like going away from their like very well recognizable pieces and going towards more niche collection pieces that are not so well known, which I think is like a very telling sign. For me personally, I am loving things that look a little bit different. I've kind of like even branched into like designing pieces that are a little bit different. And then many of you will remember that not almost, but a year and a half ago, I actually designed a collection for idyl that I wanted to be different. And it's true that now I see it a lot on like other people as well. And I love that. I think still to this date, I haven't seen many pieces like that. I mean, I know that you guys see me all the time wearing my personal idyl collection non-stop, but that's because I think that for me, idyl ticks all the boxes. We have the design, we have the quality, we have the precious materials, and they definitely are really investing in their technology, in production, in manufacture, which brings me back to my first thing. We want to know where things come from. We don't want to know who are the people making these things. We want to be educated, and we don't want to compromise on anything anymore for our own money. So talking about idyl, I actually have a full ear stack today of idyl jewelry on both sides, and I just got in this gorgeous 1 carat diamond stud, which I just think is like so special for holiday seasons. But guys, I don't want to like toot my own horn. Like, how much do I love the pieces that I had pleasure to design with idyl. For me, they're pieces that I've been wearing nonstop for a year and a half. And also I have to mention the latest piece in my collection, which is this beautiful, beautiful necklace that has gorgeous pear and round diamonds. As you can see, I think such a show stealer as their diamonds sparkle so beautifully. They're so bright and they bring such a nice light to my face, which is why I have been wearing the stack for a long time. So when it comes to jewelry, I definitely think people are gonna want more unique pieces, and it doesn't matter. Maybe there's another person, another Tamara somewhere else on Earth, planet Earth, that has these exact same pieces, but she's not gonna stack them like this, and she's not gonna wear them like this. And this is where the modular jewelry really, really plays the role. So if I come to an event and I see that same Tamara, even having the same piercings and wearing the same jewelry, and let's say I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to have the same jewelry, which I'm not that type of girl, but anyway, I can still like remove my add-ons and have a completely different look. So I think in 2026, we are going to want to have pieces that give us more freedom, that give us more versatility, that put us on like sort of point of differentiation. And I personally know myself, and it's been a very long time. Like I said, this has been since September 2024. I did not get bored of these pieces. And you guys know how many things I have and how many things I wear and how many things I appreciate. This, for someone like me, is really like the pinnacle of design, quality, durability, versatility, and transparency. So for 2026, I think when it comes to jewelry, we're gonna be on the same page. And if you need some inspiration to get beautiful pieces, I definitely strongly recommend you check idyl out. I know I already touched upon the fact that this like whole quiet luxury outfits and things are gonna be out. And I think that in a way that just very, very boring outfits are gonna now look boring and not classic. And we're gonna want more an elegance that is still with a character. So character is like, I feel like the main word of this conversation. Because yes, it's like beautiful wearing like a classic white pair of trousers and a white shirt. It's like very, you know, chic and sophisticated, but still, even if you think that old money Lady Diana vibe, there's still a lot of character there. And we do not want boring anymore. We want character. People want individuality. People want individuality with education and with a personal touch, which is like kind of a winning combination. And that's where I know that like some people can get very angry at this video and say like, hold on a second, who are you to tell me what's in and what's out? And I'm not saying what's in and what's out to you guys, because if you love something and you invest a lot of money in it, who am I to tell you what to wear and what not to wear? But I think that fashion is kind of like a bubble, you know, like the bags keep going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once they get to the point where now you can put your whole house in it, they go back to micro bags. And it's kind of like that. So we got to a point where people have seen the quiet luxury and quiet luxury and quiet luxury, where it got to like, okay, jeans and a t-shirt, I got it. But now put like a crazy like a cuff on your wrist, or have like an ear stack, or show me a personality that is different, maybe like a colored stone or two. We are after character and personality in 2026, and I'm not afraid to say it. Now, when I say the kind of elegance with character, I'm thinking black suit. Okay, black suit. Black suit is simple, but underneath maybe like a mesh body with like a crazy print, or even if you're not into prints, it can be like a crystal body underneath, just like details that will really set you apart from everything that we've already seen. Now, this one pains me a little bit, but I do believe it is what it is. Over the past few years, we have been really into clean girl makeup. Skincare, clean girl makeup, very simple eyes, simple lip. You know, it's like less is more. And we want the care, and we want the foundation, and the basics are everything. And I think that's gonna stay, especially in certain age brackets. But when it comes to really like the fashion forward girly, think about the bold lip. I think bold lip is coming back, and I think that has started already happening, because I know myself. I used to be this like nude lip kind of girly, but now I'm reaching more towards like brownish lips. And it doesn't have to be like a bright red or a bright pink or bright orange, which were the only colors that we used to know in the 80s and so on. But think about that mocha colored, deep lined lip. People are really loving also the brighter eye makeup, like a bit more sparkle. And I think because we are now at a point where I'm like, okay, I've been doing my makeup every single day for the past year in the same way. Can I just like experiment a little bit? Maybe with a colorful eyeliner, maybe with a sparkly lip. And we've already seen it kind of like try and enter the makeup bags in 2025, but I think 2026 is where it explodes, and where it says like, I'm here and I really want to show you, like, go for that burgundy lip, go for that brown lip. Come on, like reach out for something else rather than a nude lipstick. But still, as a nude lipstick kind of girly, I think we both know that we're gonna stay there. Now, let's move away from fashion and beauty and all of that stuff and talk about something really important. I think 2025 was a year of the brain rot. Like brain rot, doom scrolling, dopamine addiction, all of that has been said so many times that clearly it's come to the point where people are also like reaching and searching for help. Why are we scrolling so much? Even me, whose job is to be on social media, I was like, I want to read more and I want to be less on social media, and not because I don't want to consume. And obviously, like, I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell you you should be on social media, but I'm gonna read. We all need to be really picky with what we consume, what kind of content we consume. It's like very important, because at the end of the day, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you're spending time with people that are not educating you absolutely anything, that are not really showing you absolutely anything besides their, I don't know, like, maybe the shoe haul is not of interest to you. Maybe the grocery shopping is completely irrelevant to you. Maybe you need more knowledge, or maybe you want more soft energy, or maybe you want a different kind of entertainment. So it's time of being a well-read person that enjoys cinema, art, and culture. When did that go out of fashion anyway? But I feel like as the social media platforms were multiplying, and social media creators were multiplying as well, there was more content to consume and less time to go to cinema, read books, and kind of become familiar with the world of art and culture and history, all of which are very important. I realized in 2025 that I really love Italian cinema, and I really branched into that world. Many of my videos I dedicated telling you which Italian movies you should watch, and I know that there are great French movies as well that I'm gonna try and get into in 2026. But I think that, okay, it's not just about blockbusters and movies, it's also about getting to know other cultures, mentalities, and psychological dilemmas which cinema can bring. Besides that, 2026 for me is about getting back into classic literature. In Serbia, where I finished high school, I actually had to read a lot of classic literature, and I want to go back to Hesse, Goethe, Tolstoy, Kafka. I want to read all of that stuff and poetry. I also want to go a little bit into poetry in 2026. So for me, I'm gonna definitely cut my screen time in 2026, and I will leave that in 2025, and I will go back to more like page turners and classic literature in 2026. Who's with me on this one? Now I think my social media platform of choice, if I could just pick one, will definitely be YouTube, because on YouTube I can express my opinions, I can give more of that as well, and I think that in that sense I need platforms where I can speak more to you guys. I love all of my social media platforms, but the ones which allow me just to show outfits, I feel like I'm a very much like misunderstood or kind of like a 2D person and not giving my absolute maximum, which I think I can give to you guys, and that leaves me a feeling of sort of like wrong fulfillment. So in 2026 I want to be more on YouTube, giving opinions, not just showing my life, but also telling you what I really truly think, because there is a lot to share. I think so far I have tried every single digital planner under the sky. I still love my Notion. I really love my Notion, but I think in 2026 I'm going back to my pen and paper, which so far seemed to be the best solution for everything. Journaling on a device, it doesn't really give me anything. Even though I got a hurt finger at the moment, I still want to grab a pen and paper and write what I think, and that is the thing that is really, really helping me get my thoughts in order, organize my thoughts, and understand myself a little bit better. So I think in 2026 we're kind of going old-fashioned, you guys. We're going back Victorian, we're going back to pen and paper, we're going back to books and cinema, and I think it's because we reached like a saturation point of everything that was a little bit too detached from the realm of us growing up. Is it just us millennials, or are the Gen Zers like that as well? Like, please let me know in the comments below, because honestly, I am craving the good old times and nostalgia of pen, paper, writing my to-do lists, my agenda. I even got a whiteboard at the end of this year, which is helping me so much. So back to the journal in the old-fashioned style. I think like one thing that's definitely already been in and out is in with the therapy, out with the negative self-talk. Can we just please agree? I don't care who you are, how old, what you do. Can we just please agree that in 2025 we're gonna leave behind any negative self-talk? Sometimes like even in a supermarket, or I don't know, like in public spaces, I hear like a young girls say like, oh, I'm so stupid. And I just want to come to her, because it's someone like I don't know, right? I just want to come to her and say like, please don't speak to yourself like this, because nothing productive can come out of speaking negatively to ourselves. Like there's absolutely nothing. You're only like putting limits on everything that you can do in life by speaking negatively to yourself. I want you guys to speak positively to yourself. And please, if you can just do me one favor from this video, try and think about how you think and talk to yourself. Again, I'm gonna mention this one again. You're like a middle value, like the kind of average value or the mean of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with. But think about this. You spend the most time with yourself, because you can never escape from yourself. So if you talk negatively to yourself, how can you ever escape that weight that's pulling you down. I'm not saying let's be the Lulu and just say like, I'm the best, I'm the prettiest, I'm the fittest, I'm the smartest. Not at all. But let's try and give ourselves some sort of like positive approach. Surround yourself with positivity as much as you can. Speak to people around you who speak negatively to themselves. Help them get better. If you think like they cannot get better, advise them to go to therapy. I think like 2026 is time where we really establish that we live in such a fast world, which is fully digitalized, and we still need something to ground us and something to remind us that we still are human beings from flesh and blood. And nothing is more important and more valuable than human interaction. There is no AI, there is no robot, there is nothing that can replace human interaction. And let me tell you this, the people who live the longest, who live the happiest lives, are the people who have the most meaningful people interactions and people connections. So personally, I'm leaving behind any kind of like unnecessary acquaintanceships, and I am moving forward with my small but chosen friendship circle of people that make me feel safe, make me feel loved, and make me feel appreciated. I think definitely in 2025 we're leaving more is more kind of thing, approach to buying into every single trend, buying lots of things, and in 2026 we are going to be buying less but better quality pieces, which is kind of what I said about fashion in general, which is what I said about jewelry. We want quality, we want versatility, we want pieces that are beautifully designed, that are special, that make us look special. You know, how many times I walk in with my ear stuck and people are like, where is this from? Oh, wow, how do you spell it? Where can I find this brand? Can you type it on my Instagram? Because people want less, but better quality pieces that are really giving something more. And the same goes for fashion, the same goes for education, the same goes for books. It doesn't matter if you read 200 books in 2025, if they are like books that are really like rotting your brain. And in the times where we want interaction and we want a discussion, I want to discuss. Like I got a book and I started reading it and I was like, but who am I going to discuss this with? I want to discuss with someone what I'm reading. I just watched a movie. I want to discuss the movie with someone, you know, like we're craving discussion, we're craving quality and interaction. And I think that's something we're gonna want more in 2026. I mean, should I start the book club? I think I kind of mentioned this in briefly now, but we want friendships that are both ways. Should I just leave that there and let that sink in? Because I know that so many people out there are in relationships or in friendships that are one way only. So it's the end of the year. It's time for you to think about this and to consider leaving some things behind. Drinking water is going to be very much in 2026, okay? And I think I left Coca-Cola behind. If I can do that, you can definitely do it. I think people are gonna go more nutrition, supplements, water. I mean, I launched a supplement brand in 2025, and that is something that came out of my desperate need to be able to give back to you guys, to give you value. And I think I did great. I'm sorry if I sound so like self-boasting in this video, but the feedback that I'm getting from you guys who have already bought, like some of you are already back for the third order. And honestly, there's nothing that means more to me than seeing how much you guys are loving the brand. So it's about quality, value, transparency, and again, just giving you guys education. And I studied to be a pharmacist, so I suppose that you know that I educated myself in the field, and in that way, it's like a full circle of value that you can get. I think it's time that we not only stop negatively talking to ourselves, that we speak to ourselves in a nice way, but that we also put in our bodies things that are bringing value and giving us the best of the best. For all of my single girlies out there, I would like you to leave ignoring red flags in 2025, please. This goes out also to some of my friends. Please stop ignoring red flags and choose to go on dates that have sense and that are like planned and that are meaningful and that end with like nice conversations and meaningful stories that again might not turn into a relationship, but maybe they will turn into a friendship, because maybe you guys are not meant for each other, but you are having a good connection that is a human connection. And please, 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 to all my single ladies out there, please stop ignoring red flags, because you're only not ignoring the red flags because you think that maybe you can't do better, but you can. You sure can. Now when I think about the red flags that I used to ignore in some previous relationships, I'm like, why did I waste this time on like a wrong human being? But it was not wrong, because in the end, it bought me some time so that at the right moment I can meet my perfect human that was just waiting for me. So I guess at the end of the day, things happen for a reason. Now I'm gonna tell you some of my personal ins and outs. Like in 2026, I'm gonna unsubscribe from like random email lists that I'm on. I don't even know. Some of them I never even subscribed myself to. Some of them are actually useful and I want to be on some of those newsletter lists. But you know what the thing is? I wanna be subscribed to newsletters that I wanna be subscribed to, not the ones that I got subscribed to. I mean, anyway, you guys know I send a newsletter every Sunday. So if you want to be subscribed to that, go for it. But also if you don't want to be, unsubscribe, because you only live once and you should choose the content that you get given. So please, please, please think about that. Again, buy once nice, not twice not nice. You know what I mean? So we're now furnishing our place in Monaco and I am leaving behind the approach of, let's just get this couch because maybe it's like, you know, whatever. No, no, no. Buy the one that you want right away. Or, you know, don't buy it twice because first time you get the wrong one. Saying no and not over-explaining. I'm a people pleaser and this is a very big one for me. I cannot say no, but I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it thanks to the therapy. So I'm hoping that you guys will join me on this one. Not the therapy in case you don't need it, but maybe just saying no when you mean no and not having to explain why is it no. No, I don't want to have a coffee. Or we don't maybe have to say it like that, but I don't have to explain why I cannot do the coffee. You know what I mean? And the last but not the least, I want to say that in 2025, and I'm looking at you in the eye because this is very important to me, I'm going to have rest days without feeling guilty, because every single sleep in late or every single rest day that I have, I end up feeling guilty, and I don't want to feel like that anymore, because I do feel like I work enough and I don't understand why is my self-worth connected to not how I look, not what I wear, but how much I work. And I think it's time to leave that in 2025 and to feel good also when I'm having a rest day, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing this video of my ins and outs to the end, but I wanted to say that 2026 is my wedding year. So in is me as a missus and out is, I guess, me as unmarried girl. I can't really call it a single girl because I'm not a single girl, but you know what I mean. And I don't really think anything's going to change in that department when it comes to me. I just think that also like being a married woman also kind of like defines you in a way that in general you want more quality and more dedication and focus and curation in your life in a way. So with that being said, I'm going to bring this video to the end. I would love to know what are your ins and outs for 2026. I would love to hear more on this topic from you guys as well. So please don't be afraid to share. I love you lots. I hope you're having great end of 2025 and great beginning of 2026. And I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.